So this is going to be for the second part of the economic discussion video about any topic. And I think for this topic, I'm going to talk about how inertia plays a role in when you're training like bodybuilding or when you're lifting weights in general and such. And so think of an example. So inertia is like the amount of force of like, so the inertia of my hand is going to hit this and cause this hand to move and such. So if you think about it, when playing a role in inertia, like if you are lying on a bench doing a dumbbell press up, right? This is like basically like me explaining why you should control the weight because of inertia. So like when you come up, so let's pretend that I'm holding a weight in my hand. If I take it up really fast, it's going to be different weights. So like say I'm holding 20 pounds in my hand and I come up really fast. When it hits the top, it's when it hits that top part, that's going to feel like more than 20 pounds. But it's going to be the same way, which that isn't such as important as like when you're training and such. Like you want to put the weight up fast, but when you're coming down with the weight, that's where we want to be more careful. So as you're coming down with weight, if you're taking a dumbbell down slower and it's a 20-pound dumbbell, that dumbbell is going to be 20 pounds through that whole movement. But if you take it and you come down super fast, that weight when it comes down is not going to be 20 pounds. It's going to be more than 20 pounds. Same thing as if you took a fish hook and hung a fish by the hook. If you like bounce it up and down, the weight isn't going to be the same through the entire movement. It changes over and over. So basically, when you're training, you want to push the weight in a way that is controlled so that it's consistent the whole way through the motion. I guess another topic I could talk about is nutrition timing and like insulin sensitivity and such. So your body has insulin sensitivity to carbs from carbohydrates. So if you are in an off season where you're eating like 4,000 calories and you're constantly consuming carbs and you're eating 5 meals a day and you're eating carbs 5 times a day, you are going to like reduce your insulin sensitivity, which means you won't be using the carbohydrates as good as somebody who has higher insulin sensitivity. So a way that you can prevent doing this is through reducing carbs in certain meals. So like when you wake up, your best bet to do it is when you wake up after, like, because you're pretty much fasting for like 8 hours depending on how long you sleep for. You haven't had a meal in that long. Everything is digested, everything has gone through you. Your insulin is going to be high at the beginning of the day because you don't have any food that is that's causing that insulin to be low. So when you wake up in the morning, you could have a carb-free meal, which means that you don't have any carbohydrates in your meal. It's just going to be either primarily fats or in protein in like a vegetable, which will have trace carbs, but it's not enough to really kick up your insulin and such. So basically you would have like a fat-free meal until you had your pre-workout meal, and that would be your first set of carbs for the day. Unless you have other things and you like to train later in the day and you need to get more carbs in, you can have carbs in previous meals. But I would recommend that you always have a carbless meal before you always have a carbless meal first thing in the day, unless you're training first thing in the day. Then you could have a carbless meal at night, and then into the morning you don't have any carbs in your system, so then you have a carb, which is just going to help you it's going to help give you more energy when you absorb those carbs, because like as expenditure comes along, like you fidgeting or like you walking, you running, doing anything, you're using carbohydrates as energy. Same thing when you are in a ketosis state, like you will burn fat for energy instead of carbohydrates because you simply don't have carbs to burn. But your carbs are what your body is like, that's your go-to, that's your body's go-to every single time, because it's so easy to get down and it's so easy to use. So so you could just do carbless meal before your workout up to carbs and such, and then your body is going to be most absorbent of nutrients post-workout. So that would be the time of the day to have the most carbs and throughout the whole day, because your body has gone through such a stressful environment of training that you're going to be depleted, your glycogen is going to be low. So after filling up, after training with carbohydrates, like slamming carbs after your workout, that's the best spot for them.